Raw, let's get to it with the Men in Blazers Media Network's 2024-25 Awards of the Season. Let's start with Player of the Season, the big one. Raw, the floor is yours.
Do you know, I wish I could offer you someone left field who's made a sort of impact that's gone unnoticed, but I think the answer is really obvious. He got the Golden Boot for leading scorer and the Playmaker Award, which I did not know was a thing, for the most creative player, the person who has recorded the most assists in a season at Anfield yesterday, the dominant figure on the pitch in this Premier League season, the player who's fought is Federico Chiesa. Federico Chiesa has been only marginally more important than his dad, Enrico Chiesa. No, it's Mo Salah. The difference between Liverpool and Arsenal this year has effectively been that for 6 to 7 months, Mohamed Salah was tracking a historic season. He's tailed off a bit over the last 6 weeks. It was still fitting that he scored the final goal of the campaign for Liverpool. He is the player who led Liverpool to the title.
It really was fitting, Ro, that he delivered that final moment. I mean, there's some players who've stood out this season. Virgil van Dijk, honestly, Alexander Isak have both been terrific. I know so many of you are probably shouting 2 words at your pod radio, Skillerman and Die. And I will validate those. Cole Palmer, let's not forget, he had a first half of the season the streets won't forget, but consistency is that crucial element. I agree with you, Raw. Mo Salah shattered the record for goal involvement in a 38-game Premier League season. What was it, 29 goals, 18 assists, leading a team to the title, redefining what players' prime can and should be. Came on this show, told us about the secrets to his age-defying reality. Essentially, I think he said, only eat green things. By the way, I think of Mo Salah Raw every time I go to the fridge during the working day, open it, and I intend to eat some cheese, which Mo Salah explicitly told me never to eat. Never eat cheese. And 1 time out of 3, I guiltily put it back, hearing Mo's voice in my head. That's how powerful he is. But in a season in which Darwin, Luis Diaz, even Diogo Jota faltered for Liverpool in spells. Mo was almost like watching a lethal love supreme. More goal involvements than 6 Premier League teams this season, including Everton, yes, and Manchester United. He's going to get better and better in a Luka Modric kind of way, and it's very, very frightening. From player to manager, Raw, take the field.
So until the last 2 months, I think this was Nuno. I think the answer to this question was definitely Nuno Espirito Santo, that the idea that he might have taken the mishmash of players that Evangelos Marinakis had given him at Forest and turned them into a team that qualified for the Champions League, that took Forest, one of the great European institutions, really, into that elite competition. But I can't give it to a manager who was finished in the Conference League, especially from that position. Results in that sense do matter. So again, it has to go to the kind of obvious one, the guy who in his first season as a Premier League manager has won the league. It has to be Arne Slot.
I could not agree more. So many candidates. By the way, both a reflection of the influx of elite coaching to the Premier League in the last 5 years, also the extent to which we perceive coaches to be the face of everything, the puppet masters on their teams. So many candidates. You've got to give a shout out to Oliver Glasner of Crystal Palace, humanly empathetic leadership. You got the Vitor Pereira, the fireman, first the points, then the pints. I love Nuno, but it was an agony watching him wobble at the last. Still an incredible achievement. I mean, dealing with that owner. Eddie Howe kept his head when all around them were losing theirs up at Newcastle, delivered Carabao glory. David Moyes, I'm legally obliged to say it, but on a slot, I've said it a lot, to defy consensus wisdom that you can be the man who follows the man. That you can come in, that you don't need new players, that you can take a team forward, that you don't have to make noise, that you can be, with tactical brain, unlock new levels from his players, find a new tactical strain within that squad. It's really remarkable. With the 3 big contract negotiations going on as a distraction behind him, to lead with that Normcore brilliance was a thing of wonder. I do think if I was Jurgen Klopp, I would think, wow, he took what I built and ran it better than me. That's not a knock on Jurgen, but it's really a great compliment to Arne, who's overseen, I've said this, one of the greatest transformational acts of leadership I have seen in the modern Premier League season. Raw, let's quickly pick game of the season.
So I've gone for, I wasn't sure what the criteria were. I've gone for a Champions League game, Roger. Is that all right?
You define the rules. Audrey just gave us the mandate.
I've actually gone for 2. It's either Barcelona versus Inter or it's Inter versus Barcelona. I thought the two legs of those that Champions League semi-final were magnificent. They're just brilliant entertainment. Two wonderful but flawed teams, loads of incredible goals, a kind of announcement from Lamine Yamal that he's here and he's here to stay. It was superb entertainment right until the very end. Decisive goal scored by a 37-year-old centre-back who'd twice survived cancer. What more do you want?
For me, wonder of the FA Cup final could not be beat. Palace fans, the joy, the glory, the tifo, the Eze goal, and that post-match cacophony that was honestly football not taken for granted, which is football at its best. Nice pivot, really, Raw, into goal of the season.
Well, so again, I've gone for I've taken my own definition here, because it wasn't the best goal in the sense that it was the most attractive. But Dan Burns' goal for Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final against Liverpool, I thought was a far post header. Doesn't sound spectacular, but for him to score it for his boyhood team at Wembley, to put them on their way to their first trophy in 70 years, that is the most meaningful goal of the season.
For me, it has to be that Matoma goal. I love Brighton and Hove Albion. Football played the right way. A club built with brains, diligence, ferocity, tenacity. That 3-0 win on Valentine's Day over Chelsea. Find this goal if you don't remember it. The long clearance from Verbruggen in goal. But the Matoma elements is as if each of them learnt for the last and tried to up it. The way he plucked the ball down from the ether on the volley. Ball flying in at speed from a distance. Treated it like he was caressing a feather. Like a sensitive lover. The Uruguayan poet Galeano once came on the show and talked about how Messi plays as if the ball was inside the very sock he was wearing. This was Matoma, but he was just getting started. He beat the defender. I think it was Chalobah. Actually did magically in terms of covering, but just the way it felt like the danger had been snuffed out. But my God, you can't snuff out wizard filth. Matoma, the man with a PhD in dribbling, just drifted past him, lashed lethally with minimum first pass Jorgensen. Honestly, it's how I imagine watching that goal. How I imagine what tantric sex with Sting feels like. Raw, a new award, the Cherry's Chocolate Orange Award, for an unlikely but delicious surprise.
Again, I'm going abroad, Rog, but there is a Premier League link. Scott McTominay, the Serie A Player of the Year, the player who scored so many vital goals to deliver Napoli's fourth title, their second in 3 years, to send a city wild, the man with more nicknames than any other. We knew he was a good player. We knew he was a useful squad member at Manchester United. For him to blossom in Naples has been really heartwarming.
For me, I define this slightly differently. Terry's Chocolate Orange, I took that seriously. Two things that go together in a way you wouldn't expect, like chocolate and orange, for instance. For me, Brian and Bumo, Johan Wieser of Brentford, what dizzying seasons. They scored 66 times as a club. The duo scored 39 of those goals, had 52 goal contributions combined. To watch their chemistry week in, week out, on the field. They have incredible chemistry off it. They've gone to extraordinary lengths. They live one door down from each other. They are together all the time. Wieser's children call them Bumo, quote, Uncle Brian. Greatest tribute, perhaps, just how many elite strikers Brentford had without missing a beat. Ollie Watkins to Neil Maupay to Ivan Toney, all gone without a speed bump. I'll say if Bumo moves, he's been linked to United and even Arsenal. I think the acquiring team should be forced to buy both of them as a package. They are perfect. Chemistry rare. It's like watching Michael Cera and Wes Anderson get together and deliver the kind of joy that is at unprecedented levels. Two more before we go, Raw. The Martin Scorsese the Dog Award for Footballing Character of the Season.
Three candidates: Ange Postecoglou, who gave the quote of the season; Ruben Amorim for his dedication to trying to get himself fired. But I've given it to Nicolas Jova, Arsenal set piece coach, the man who takes credit for all the goals they score from set pieces and none of the ones they concede. He is very much a Premier League 2025 character. This has ultimately been Nicolas Jova's season. He's got his own mural. He's a set piece coach.
It's a tiny mural.
What more do you want? It's quite a good mural.
It's the tiniest mural. Two for me. Chris Wood, who feels a bit like, it felt like a bit part, like a character, third cousin at a bar mitzvah. After making his Premier League debut, age 17. He's been around forever. I think this is his 16th season. But age 33, found levels, the most potent football of his career. It's like watching Hugh Jackman. I told him this when he came on the show. I said, you like Hugh Jackman going from just some random stage actor to main Marvel superhero energy. 20 goals, Nottingham Forest All-Premier League time scorer, established himself as the pride of Auckland, New Zealand. I will say the fact he scored just twice in his last 12 games dented that, that pumpkined it a little bit. So I'll award it to another gentleman who sustains me, honestly. I've long admired him for his tenacity, his self-confidence, his humility. Living proof football's at its best when it transcends football, and this gent's story is all of that. He came on this show about 2 months ago. Find this interview. Hear the story of a rise from being overlooked, ground down, rejected constantly at every stage of the English football pyramid, kept grinding, kept believing. It's Eberechi Eze, a man who's turned himself into the singular pulsating talent that everybody doubted. He knew it was. 8 league goals, 8 assists in the Premier League, that FA Cup journey where he goal after goal to deliver it. When you hear those words, Eberechi Eze, you lean forward. You just know that a bright blast of self-expression is going to go down, and I love that. Proof great things happen to great people. Well, finally, your memory of the season. How do you choose as a Liverpool fan? It's like choosing between your children.
I think it has to be something intensely personal. And the one thing that I noticed at the game yesterday was that obviously I was sat apart from my son. He was with his granddad. I sneaked into a slightly different part of the ground. And I noticed that it didn't feel the same as watching Liverpool with Ed. It felt, I had a great time. It was wonderful to be there. I'm really glad I was. I felt privileged. But there's something special about sharing those moments with your kid. And I'm sure lots and lots of parents will know what I'm talking about. The moment that I will remember most from this season was dancing to One Kiss and Freed From Desire with my son at Anfield when they beat Spurs. That was the thing that will mean the most to me for the rest of my life.
You're a good dancer, Ro.
I'm a Yorkshireman. I'm a terrible dancer.
Another season, and it was a shared moment for me, not with my kids unfortunately, but with my best friend from the year zero, Jamie Glassman. It was going to Goodison Park for the last ever Goodison derby. James Tarkowski, 98th minute. It was a derby. We were getting beat. The Liverpool fans were singing, we won the league at Goodison Park. And honestly, I've seen so little happiness in derbies in my lifetime that I was overwhelmed by emotion anyway at the Goodison. Goodbye, really. The last nighttime game with my lifelong best friend. Both of our memories of who wasn't there with us, generational memories, which have been shattered, honestly, by Mo Salah. Light had turned into darkness, and then Tarkowski. Then it was him. That servant at the club, probably the most missionary position, pragmatic, rudimentary footballer in the league. What was he doing there? How did he not blast the ball over? That it was such a thump off a foul in the build-up to by Beto, the long VAR, which only added to the agony. And then that release, that unbridled, full-throated joy, watching Liverpool's happiness turn to ashes in the throat. And on this day, something had been won. Yes, it was just a point, but it was more, it was self-respect, it was dignity, and the instant knowledge, collective knowledge of a memory shared by thousands of Blues laughing last. That is the feeling that I will hold on to. And I had the honour of going to Everton's training ground the next day, filming with a bunch of the players. I'll say, Beto, what a humble man. But spending time with James Tarkowski. Tark is, 15 years into his career, 16 years. He's seen everything. But he was still buzzing. Honestly, he was like a fan, unable to explain, unable to comprehend what he had done, which is what makes football great. It's all the more powerful when it's at its best, when it's emotional and not able to be articulated. And it's that inability to put into words which I think ultimately joins so many millions of us to share it with the world, Raw. Even though our job, Raw, is to make the ineffable inarticulate. What a season. God bless you all. 83 days until the next Premier League season. Raw, thank you. Huge love to you. I've loved breaking down this with you.